Man, have you seen the absolute blow up of my winter car?
No. Is that like my summer? Is that like my summer car?
It's the exact same developer.
Nice.
Exact same. It's just now winter. It's actually a more hardcore version of my summer car because now you have to survive the Finnish winter. And
I love the trailer. It's just him sitting there smoking a cigarette while cars drive by in the background.
That's the whole.
That is the whole trailer.
That's the whole.
I'm scanning ahead.
I remember watching. And dude, let me tell you, because like I'm a huge My Summer Car fan, right? I love My Summer Car. I think it was like a Steam showcase of like upcoming games. And whenever it first started, I was like, no. No. And then like for a minute and a half, you're just watching this, and then like it hits, Amos Tech Games and like my winter car. Like, no.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CoinDrop Podcast. This is episode 122, and joining me after a good long break, Zach, you're back with us. How you been, buddy?
Oh, it's been a long break. We've had nothing but rain here in Southern California, which is very odd. So it was a long 2 weeks trapped with my children in the house without them being able to go outside and do anything.
Yeah, I was pretty sure you were gonna get washed away for a minute there. I was like, hey, you alive down there? You guys got some serious water. Yep,
that means summer is gonna be some fun wildfires this year.
Oof. Yeah, it could be, huh? Well, you started school up, right? You're now full-time working on your master's?
Yep, on my master's. I started school on Tuesday. So this is my first week of getting to do this again. And boy, did I think I missed it. I don't.
Yeah, no. I'm on my second week now, and I'm in an automotive class. I'm in an automotive program. Now, you would think that would mean the majority of the teaching is done in the shop. Today was the first day I got to get in the shop. 8 hours a day, sitting at a desk, reading out of a book that I could be reading at home. Guys, come on. No one in this fucking class learns from reading out of a book. We are mechanics. And if you're not learning with your hands on, you're going to fail this program.
Yep, my first lecture, I guess it's technically my second lecture, it's every Tuesday and Thursday. It's just an old guy. It's engineering systems integration.
Okay, that sounds boring as fuck, if I'm honest.
It is, but I love it. It's actually kind of what I do professionally. Being a test engineer,
sure.
I'm testing all of the systems being integrated together.
But doing it and hearing a lecture about it are two very different things.
I agree, and I would be a little happier if I actually got a lecture out of it. It's just an old guy telling stories of his time working at Boeing or Lockheed Martin, or that time we built Steve Jobs his own private jet. Like, that's great.
That's great, Grandpa. Let's get you back to bed.
Yeah. Steve Jobs is dead. I need information here in 2026, not about Steve Jobs' airplane. So it's been an interesting start.
Yeah, college, man. At least 3 times a day, I'll look to my left at one of the guys that sits next to me and just kind of give him the praise, and he's just like, yeah, I know. Sitting there listening about how to bleed brakes and the multiple different ways to do it and what a caliper is versus a drum, and I'm like, oh my fucking lord. I get some of the people here don't know this stuff, but dude, let us get our fucking hands dirty, for Christ's sake.
I just want to fix things.
I just want to tear stuff apart. But yeah, I got into the shop today, got to do some tearing apart. Tore down a wheel bearing, actually both front wheel bearings on an F-150, which is fun because I've never done wheel bearings before. So I was like, yeah, something new, let's do it. And I just went ham on it, had a good time. Looking forward to getting through this course, and hopefully this time I'll pass my ASEs. I also have to retest on the ASEs from last quarter in the next few months too, which is going to be a bit of a headache, but just slam, dude. I get home, I get up, I go to school, I come home for about 30 minutes, and then I'm out the door to go DoorDash to make ends meet. Come home, work out because I started working out again, so I've been doing supernatural VR boxing again. Then I make my lunch for the next day. Then I get about 20 minutes to relax before I go to bed and do it all over again. Oh, it's gonna be a hard quarter.
Yep. Yeah, I have to do 2 of my lectures while at work, so I have to sit there and hope nobody bothers me for about an hour and a half every Tuesday and Thursday, which is impossible.
Yeah.
It's an impossible task. So, yeah, well, we'll see how the rest of the semester goes.
For sure. Well, tonight we've got some games. We've actually got 3 games, potentially 3 games we're going to talk about. Well, definitely 3 games we're going to talk about, but potentially one of them that's been around for 25 years. So we'll get to that. We also have a Patreon site. So if you guys want to support us over on Patreon at /CoinDrop Pod, we do an extra bit of content over there. Tonight we're going to be talking about the strangely absent game that they closed the VGAs on with. We haven't seen head or tail of Highguard since Jeff Keighley said it was the most amazing thing he's ever seen. And it supposedly comes out in just a couple days. So we're going to talk about that over there, as well as kind of why hero shooters suck. So if that's something that interests you, head over to patreon.com/CoinDropPod, and you can hear us rant about hero shooters, as well as probably get off track. On top of that, we'll be talking about a ton of upcoming games. Last week, we had almost nothing for you guys. We've got looking at a list of at least 7 games here to talk about that are coming up. So a lot of extra content over there. You also get the podcast early. When and if we ever do get big, we will eventually run ads because I would like to not have to pay for everything this CoinDrop podcast does out of pocket. So if you want the podcast ad-free, it'll always be ad-free on Patreon. Lots of good benefits over there. Like I said, head over to patreon.com and you can find out more /CoinDrop Pod. One more thing before we jump into the content. Last week got a bit awkward for me and Chris when I was doing the edit and realized I was a fucking idiot. Those of you who listened or watched may have caught that I wrongly said John Ray Davies was the voice actor for the professor from Lilo and Stitch. Nope, he is not. He's also incredibly famous for, I don't know, playing Gimli in The Lord of the Rings. So I feel incredibly stupid. I actually did some edit on the video side where at one point I just flashed some text on the screen and said, well, this is getting awkward, because the way we were talking was not at all justified for the legend that man has to his name. So if you missed last week's episode, go check it out. There's some really good awkward, like, these guys don't know fuck all that they're talking about. Yeah, it happens sometimes. We don't know everything. So big thing is correcting it when we do make a mistake, right? Well, I think that's all I've got for housekeeping. Let's jump into kind of our first topic tonight. There will be a part 2 to this conversation, so to speak. We're going to talk about Cloudheim. And by part 2, I mean I'm building a review that should be coming out right about when this episode is out. So if you're watching this, go check that out. We've got a full review over there, hopefully. I can't predict the future, but it should be done before this episode comes out. But Zach, you played some Cloudheim with me. I know you didn't get a ton of time in it, and I would like to get your opinion. As someone who immediately compared it to Moonlighter, which is, I think both of us agree, a phenomenal game. What are your thoughts about Cloudheim?
So the amount I've got to play it, I agree, was a crazy amount of time. I brought this up earlier. The Steam Winter Sale is absolutely crucifying my time with all the amount of games I bought. But in the early access state that we played it in, it was a great multiplayer game. We almost seamlessly got to play co-op together. When it was seamless.
Yeah.
It was the few disconnects that we got here and there, which for an early access, especially when we were playing it on, day, I think we were playing
It was definitely,
day 5.
yeah, it was definitely week 1.
Yeah, with everyone else playing. Yeah, I'm not upset about that. It was rough, but that's okay. The movement felt good. The combat felt good, but there were some rooms for improvement. Trying to find things on the map. I love exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I hate having to do an FBI grid pattern search to find things. I'm sitting there at 2 o'clock in the morning, just, where is this chest? Where is this? And we're on day 2 of a release, so there's no YouTube video or somebody hasn't written a note anywhere.
Yep.
You're just hoping. So besides that, the game still feels smooth. The gameplay loop is great, having a home base that you get to build upon, improve upon, and you improve it by creating and selling the things that you find. That's where it felt very Moonlighter-y.
Yeah.
Moonlightery.
Yeah,
So
it works.
Yeah, for an early access, the amount it cost and we got a solid amount of time playing together out of it. Like, I wasn't upset at buying it. I look forward to playing it.
Yeah, I would say I do agree with you on the exploration side. They don't really part out the zones that they put chests in, and then there are like chests. So basically, I probably have some footage of it rolling now, but the idea is like you have a semi-open world. There are islands, and they're one large open world island when you go to it, but moving to another one, you go through a load zone, right? So when you're on that island, it's also divided up into regions, and those regions have exploration goals, find X amount of chests, this kind of stuff. But there's no hard lines on where those end, and the only hard division you get is a bit of text that says, hey, now you're in this region. Like, okay, well, I went too far. And there are chests throughout the region that don't count towards completing that region, which is kind of weird. But yeah, like Zach said, there were there were some late nights of like, dude, where the fuck is this chest?
It's driving me crazy.
There were some times, yeah.
They hit us with the Oklahoma special where they're like, we have 300 miles of strip of land that goes out just this far in 1 square meter. So if you were looking for the chest in, where was it? The mountain area.
Yeah.
Good luck. It's actually 200 feet below you.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some times where I was like, all right, guys, like, come on. And, you know, like you said, there's no guide for it because the game's still in early access and it's day 5. Nobody's found this shit yet. They don't make Prima guides anymore. That company doesn't even exist as far as I know. God, do you remember those days going to a game store and picking up the copy of the game and them asking you, hey, do you want to save 20% and buy the strategy guide for it too? Old days.
Yep.
Old days.
Yeah, those were it. now the strategy guide is just like a collector's edition item. Funny enough, the last strategy guide I bought was for Cyberpunk 2077 for its like day 1 iteration. So that thing's useless now. Completely useless.
It's either that or it's some asshole on Reddit being like, well, this is fucking here and it's so.
Yep.
That's your guides now. That's your guides now. Yeah, Cloudheim is. I love the art style, dude. Again, like cell shaded to me, I'm not a big fan of the new Legend of Zelda games, but anything that's got that cell shaded look really hooks me. And I don't know why, I've just always been a fan of it. I think, honestly, it started with the movie A Scanner Darkly, which I don't know if you've ever seen that. We were in, I think, middle school when that came out, because your brother and my brother used to hang out and watch it all the time. And that exposed me, that and 13, which was a phenomenal shooter on the Xbox. Great story. It was like 007, but like not at the same time. Very good shooter. Was also cell shaded in that comic book style. And dude, I was just hooked. So anything that's got that kind of super color poppy, hard division lines just really does it for me. Cloudheim has made some updates. They continue to update. They currently have a winter event going on. So extra stuff, always changing it. Hopefully it grows. I mean, I'm sure it will, but there are some things like the loop does get kind of stale, in my opinion, after a while. It gets to a point where once you get your shop all the way leveled up, you basically go out, kill monsters, make stuff to get money to upgrade your statues, and character level doesn't feel very impactful, but we'll get into that a lot more in our full review. So if you want to hear more about Cloudheim and see more about it, go check that out because it should be out or coming out very soon.
I will say, at the time of this recording, they came out with a roadmap for 2026 yesterday.
Nice. That's cool. I was unaware that they had the updated roadmap.
And new content on the 21st.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, it's good to see that Noodle Cat, which I still love that name. It's a fucking great developer name. What a just off the wall, brilliant. It's good to see that they're still pushing out great content. It has only been out for, I think, about a month now. So we'll see where it goes. But speaking of games that are cell shaded, we've got another one to talk about. Echoes of Elysium. So, Zach, you know a little bit about this game. Let me kind of fill you in because this actually was an email I got from their PR company. Echoes of Elysium is being developed by a new indie studio called Loric Games. They're a small team of about 12 people. Every single one of them is a gamer. So all of them are passionate gamers not just people making games. They want to make something that's fun because they enjoy games as well. Their CEO and co-founder is a guy named Brian Johnson, and he just recently did a devlog for the game because I guess apparently it was supposed to come out last year, and they had to push it to the 27th. So it comes out on the 27th in early access. It's not a full complete game. And Brian actually had some interesting thoughts on that I kind of agree with. He said, we don't want to build a complete game before launching it. Just because we like it doesn't mean the world will. So the idea that, if you build a game in a vacuum, it's not exactly a guarantee that your audience is going to enjoy it. Right? I mean, we've seen that with tons of games, right? There's so much secrecy around video games and the project. I don't really understand it, but it seems like in the last couple of years, developers who are willing to expose their game to their potential audience end up making the game better as a result. Look at Battlefield 6, prime example. Games like Ashes of Creation, which are a little rough right now, but to be fair, they just launched in early access and now have thousands of players when their earlier playtests had a couple hundred. So, if they're listening to their communities, if these games do this, if these devs do this, and they're listening to their communities, they're going to make a product that they're happy with, that their audience is also happy with. So kind of one thing to consider about early access games is, how much involvement do you want to have in shaping the game that you're playing? And it seems like Brian Johnson wants the community's involvement in making it the game the community wants it to be, which is pretty cool. It is a airship survival RPG, and guess what? It's cell-shaded. So immediately check that box off. I was super into it at the get-go. Launches on the 27th, like I said, into early access. It's going to be $19.99 the first week with a 10% discount for early adopters. Brian in the video says that he's doing this because he wants to kind of thank, I guess, gamers for adopting a game that is going to have bugs. It's early access. You're going to encounter bugs. You're going to encounter glitches. But, that's kind of what you sign up for with early access games. And it's going to have up to 6-player co-op, which is really cool. The idea is your airship is your base. It's not just a piece of equipment to move from landmass to landmass, but it is, in fact, 100% your base, and you will build it to fit whatever means you want to. And it's really cool because the airships look kind of like old Roman ships, old Roman vessels. They've got the eyes on the front with the big old freaking, God damn it, I can't remember the name of what they call the thing off the bow. It's the ram, but there's an actual term for the ram. I can't recall off the top of my head. Either way, it looks really cool. But Zach, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I saw the same email actually, and I was at work, so I briefly skimmed it, and I was like, this looks really good. And I think what cued me off to the email was I saw a blurb and they're like, hey, if you're interested in playing this game, shoot us an email. I was like, oh, that's a really cool thing of him to offer. First impression I immediately have of this is jump space. We gotta see if Thieves jump space. Big mashup.
Yeah.
We're not in the ocean, we're not in space, we're right in between it. But no, it looks fantastic. It looks like a more survival based jump space, as in we're
more
not
crafting gathering than what jump space is. Jump space is kind of like survival extraction, I would say.
Yeah, like your own home base. This is your home base, is the entire setting.
How me way you make it.
Yeah.
Some Joe Dirt for you.
Nah, how me way you make it.
You like to see homos naked?
What? You like to see homos naked? No, homos way you make it. Yeah, you like to see homos naked, man. That's fine. I mean, you do you.
Yep. Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks, finding we're in here in 2026. Every game you go into Steam, and it's just gotten to the point where, you can put in any number of tags that you want. I want a roguelite gambling game that involves horror and death, and you'll get Clover Pit and Buckshot Roulette, something like that.
I want tanks, dating sim, and property management. I bet you it comes up with something.
Oddly enough, I'm pretty sure we have something called Selling Hitler's Estate coming out in the next. Weird, right? Yeah, so we're getting some mashups, and it's finding that balance between the mashup, and this looks like it's definitely that in between of two different games that I enjoy, knowing that it's going to be unique enough that I will not think it's a stale knockoff of Jump Space or Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I think they put enough into it to make it its own thing. The fact that you really do build the airship to suit what you want with the players is really cool. My biggest thing is how grindy is it going to be? A lot of the turnoff for me for survival games eventually becomes the input to output ratio gets exaggerated over time, right? Like, prime example, I used to play Ark Survival Evolved, which, fun fact, Snail Games is actually the publisher for this, and they do Ark Survival Evolved as well as Ark 2 and Brightwell. So, you know, the team that they're working with that is a publisher knows exactly how to publish this kind of game, knows how to promote it, knows who to promote it to, because it fits exactly in their wheelhouse. So, very cool. But going back to Ark, dude, I spent like 7, maybe 8 hours sitting at my desk with a group of people trying to tame a Spinosaurus. And that's real time. That was me sitting in my chair trying to tame a Spinosaurus. And don't get me wrong, once I had the damn thing, we owned the server, but it was still a matter of like hundreds of thousands of pieces of meat and just a ridiculous amount of time. So, you know, there's the question of resource availability versus crafting time versus, you know, a lot of stuff. So I'm curious to see how they end up balancing that to keep the gameplay fun. Conan Exiles, kind of the same thing. I remember playing that with Tim, and we wanted to build this base that had like black ice walls, and the resource cost to do that was just so astronomical that I actually had to go and do a private server where I could just play in survival or like free play mode or whatever, so I had everything, and build the blueprint of what I wanted on our server, because misplacing one single wall would set us back hours of materials and research and time. So it was like, okay, let's not break anything. Let's make sure everything is exactly where it should. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they kind of balance everything. The gameplay, the combat looks kind of cool. I'm a little skewed now because Cloudheim's combat is so fun and so fast paced and so responsive that Echoes of Elysium looks like, yeah, all right. You know, I mean, it doesn't look bad by any means, but honestly, Cloudheim's combat is next level, in my opinion. But
sorry, I now realize this while I was looking at the name Echoes of Elysium, and I'm like, why do I think this sounds so familiar? And I didn't want to sidebar too much.
No, go for it.
But about a year and a half ago, I think maybe 2 years ago, I'm really into small indie developed MMOs. There was this indie developed MMO coming out called Echoes of Ethereal. It had a very rough launch. I think max player count was roughly 4,000, 5,000, which, you know, to say anything, Bitcraft Online had roughly that same player count. So it was Ethereal Echoes of Yore.
Ethereal Echoes of Yore. Okay.
Yes, I think that's what it was, not Echoes of Ethereal. It's something along those lines.
Sure.
They've renamed it now. It's just called Ethereal. So yeah, they found out that the servers were the servers were a virtual machine on a cloud host. So that was cool to find that out. We're wondering, like, how come rubber banding, just like, what is going on with this game?
Hold on.
Then the developers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, no, the servers for this MMO, so everything that handled it was basically being ran off of a virtual machine off of a cloud host on someone's computer. So they were like, how come, you know, we only have 100 players in the server? It's like rubber banding like crazy. Yeah, it turns out when you have it's not supposed to work that way. I'm pretty sure those are supposed to work the other way around. Yes.
Who made that call?
It was a creative thought, and for the amount of players that it had initially, it was sort of working, but as you started to play the game more and more, you're like, this is ridiculous. I could understand if I was like in the middle of the Antarctic having this bad of rubber banding. Maybe I'm on the ISS or hundreds of miles under the sea. I don't know. There's other places I feel like I would experience this with my 1+ gig fiber internet. I do not expect this kind of things, and it was everyone.
Jeez.
So that's when we found out the status of it. Long story short, the developer quit effectively, went on to a different project. So then it was in the dark, and not that I'm trying to plug a whole different game right now, but this name, I was wondering why I plugged. I still have it downloaded in my Steam library. It's because despite only having a 30 to 50 player count for the last 2 years, the new developers who've inherited the project are now completely redeveloping the game.
Oh, that's cool.
From the ground up, and they've been coming out with constant updates. So I was like, man, what is going on with this? And it's because, hey, they're still chugging. You know, I have a January 2nd update. Happy New Year 2026 roadmap. And you're like, all the other 32 the people who've seen this are excited.
Hey man, those 32 people, that guy made their day.
Yeah, you know, hey, like, I just kudos to them for carrying on with it, and that's why it's still, that name just stuck with me.
Sure, makes sense.
I see him every time. I'm like, I'm impressed by the resilience of the remaining dev team.
Good for them. Well, Echoes of Elysium takes place in Elysium, which is really cool because that's, you know, the Roman mythological afterlife, the fields of Elysium. So that's pretty cool. And you're going to be fighting clockwork soul-powered beasts in this game, which has a lot of implications, I guess is the best way to say that. How did they get souls? Who made the clockwork monsters? There's a lot of questions that I wonder if the game's going to answer, if it's just going to be like, yeah, here you go. Released in early access, who knows? We'll see what happens with it, but it's up in the air. There is a giveaway that they're doing right now too, which I do want to plug. They partnered with a content creator named Ben Q. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm sure somebody out there does. It's like, you don't know who Ben Q is? No, I don't. Anyways, he builds custom PCs apparently, and he built a custom PC for a giveaway that looks like one of the airships from the game. It looks really fucking cool. I don't know where you put something like that, but it looks really fucking cool. And you can win it. And it also comes with SteelSeries peripherals, as well as an Alienware gaming monitor. So it's not just winning the PC and now you're on your own. It's the whole kit and caboodle. You got it all right there. So we have that link in the show notes if you want to sign up for that giveaway. Really just requires you to link, I think I linked my Facebook account. I'm not too sure, but you can link Discords, you can do this or that, but really easy sign up. Hey, if you win a PC, you got a really cool airship PC. Give it some cool ass name like the North Star or something. Who knows? But unfortunately, that's all I have on Echoes of Elysium right now. I look forward to checking it out. Maybe I can add the developer and maybe Brian Johnson to my list of developers we need to interview this year. I still am working on one coming for March, so stay tuned for that. Zach will hopefully be there with me on that interview, but we'll have to wait and see. So that one will be in the future. Zach, any final thoughts on Echoes of Elysium before we move on to kind of your topic for the night?
Echoes of Ethereal Elysium, your whatever it may be called now. I know it's two separate games.
Yeah.
Be quiet, Grandpa. No, it's it looks like a great game. I'm excited to hopefully get the boys together, up to 6 friends.
Yeah. Get Chris in here, maybe Beastie and a couple others. Survival games are always fun. Made better when you play with friends. Always.
Yep.
Well, moving on, talking about games that are always getting better and being better. A milestone has just been hit for a game that is probably older. I would have to look at the metrics, but probably older than half our audience. I don't know how old our audience is. I haven't looked at those metrics, to be honest. But an old game nonetheless. Zach, what do you got for us?
So, as everyone hears me talk every time I come on here, yeah. I don't think it's a CoinDrop episode without me mentioning RuneScape.
Not at all. It's become a staple of episodes that you're in.
It's gotta be. So RuneScape is having its 25th anniversary this year. RuneScape turns 25 years in January. Came out January 2001.
God damn.
I was there, Gandalf. I was there.
It does. The fucked up part, dude, is it does not feel that long ago. It really doesn't.
Right.
Ugh. Hate it.
Right.
I hate it.
So they are having their 25th anniversary. They always have a winter summit, which has become more and more popular as the game, oddly enough, gets more and more popular. You know, everyone talks about, say, BlizzCon. Everyone knows what BlizzCon is because World of Warcraft is the giant entity that it is.
Yeah.
But RuneFest is getting bigger. I will say it's far more popular in the UK, where Jagex is and where they originate from. So getting tickets to that's usually pretty difficult. Not that I'm gonna go, but it is cool to see that they're getting stronger. And their year in review, some big notable things coming out from a game company that's listening, that's 25 years old, is they're removing microtransactions from RuneScape 3. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, not to get too crazy. I've been over this in a whole CoinDrop episode, the difference between old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3.
Go watch that one if you want to hear that rant again.
Yeah, go watch that one if you want a whole Wikipedia article read to you about me from memory from me. The old school RuneScape doesn't have microtransactions. RuneScape 3 has microtransaction since I think 2013, and because of that, you can see a massive disparity in the popularity of the two games. And I talked about that too. RuneScape 3 was basically down to a few thousand players at any time, whereas old school was sitting at anywhere between 170 to now around 240,000 active concurrent players on a daily basis. So I talked about it, I think before the end of the year, they had a community poll and Jagex listened, and they are removing microtransactions to overwhelmingly positive reviews on that game, to the point that RuneScape 3 is now becoming a much larger portion of players. So what is the rest of the industry thinking of here when we're getting microtransactions shoved down our throat? And here we have a 25-year-old company only getting stronger, only getting more popular by saying, what if you didn't have a pay to win function and you want to spend hours of your life grinding wood cutting on the same tree? The fans loved it.
Yep. I mean,
So-
this last year alone, we've seen such a dramatic shift that game prices went through the roof. We saw $90 games, and the most popular games that released last year cost less than $40 on release. Not on a sale, but on release. Silksong, I believe it was $30 at release. And if I'm not mistaken, Expedition 33 was $40 on release.
Yeah, like case in point, game of the year 9 million times over
Yeah.
was $40 on release.
In the year when everybody's like, yeah, we need to charge $79.99 for games now. Industry, I think you need to pay attention. We're voting with our wallets and you're losing. And Jagex, good on them for reading what the community, again, paying attention, right? Doing the right thing, not the thing that's going to make them billions of dollars. Sorry, I relate everything to cars because I'm as much a car guy as I am a fucking video game nerd. It's Toyota. Toyota, for years, not so much now, but when they entered the car market, they noticed the disparity in the car market of people who would buy cars every 10 years because the cars were being designed to fail after those 10 years. Toyota came out with the most indestructible pickup in the world, to the point where the guys on Top Gear did everything humanly possible short of drop a fucking Moab on the damn thing to try and kill it, and it still ran. And that wasn't rare for Toyota. That is Toyotas. That's what they set out to be. They set out to corner the market by being the best. And sure, that meant people weren't replacing their vehicles as often, but it also meant that people trusted the brand and were more likely to buy a Toyota over anything else. So Jagex is just doing the same thing. They're going, hey, yeah, our game's cheap. Yeah, we'll lose money in the short term if we drop these microtransactions, but what are we gonna gain? More subscribers, more players, more people, more press, more over the long term. And that is how you run a business, in my opinion. And I don't know shit about business, so, take that for what you want. But obviously, Jagex is doing something right if they're seeing... I mean, do we have numbers on how much their player counts went up by?
Oh, yeah, I could tell you numbers all day.
Hit me with the numbers.
If we're just talking RuneScape 3 player counts, which, we'll talk about the one that they're removing microtransactions.
Yeah, because that's the one that's going to make the biggest difference, right? Like, you're going to pull microtransactions out of the game. So let's find out what their starting numbers were and where they're at, I guess,
Yeah, so back the farthest we can go is roughly 2013 whenever we had effectively the split. We'll call it the split.
Sure.
Is RuneScape 3 had 56,000 players.
Not bad
At that time.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not bad. Right? Old school RuneScape had 34,000. So it wasn't until about 2015 when they started seeing microtransaction implementation that we started seeing the flip, and that's whenever RuneScape 3 started to die off. So here in 2020, the lowest point it got is, and this is just daily players. This isn't highest active, so it's kind of like a mass number instead of a concurrent number.
Yeah.
RuneScape 3 only had 6,500 daily players. That's
big drop.
Huge drop. Whereas old school was slowly improving at 45,000. So, and that's the amount of accounts that have logged in for that day. That's not even concurrent. And now the data is not perfect. I can only go back to around summer of 25 because this is a whole third-party API that recorded this data. So RuneScape 3 dropped down to 4,000 players.
Ooh.
And now, though, they're starting to hike back up with the amount of players that they have with this announcement. And I think we had 170,000 players vote.
Holy fuck. That's a lot of players.
Yep.
That's a lot of people saying, ditch this shit.
Yeah. So to give you an idea now of recovering from, 4,000 players of a mass daily login, just at this moment, as I speak, concurrent players that are playing online right now, there's over 200,000 RuneScape players. The full number
for both old school and 3 or just 3?
Yeah, collectively right now.
Okay.
Collectively right now. So old school RuneScape, 188,000 players online. RuneScape 3, much less players, around roughly 20,000 players online, but recovering from a 3,000 player on a daily basis to a concurrent 20,000 player count. That's
a huge
jump. A recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
Good
recovery.
For them. Good for them.
Yeah,
And it does raise the question, right? What are other industries? What are other developers? Not really developers, right? I can't imagine there's a single developer out there that really wants microtransactions in their game. I'm going to go ahead and say publishers are probably to blame for most of that. So it's going to make me wonder, what's going to happen, right? What's 2026 going to look like for video games? Because with companies like Jagex rolling back their microtransactions and the cost of games going up and everything is going up. So, dude, fucking RAM is the most expensive thing you can buy in a goddamn computer now. Why? It's just wrong. It's just all wrong. We are in the darkest timeline. For my community fans, we're in the darkest timeline.
AI, man, it's crazy.
Sure is.
All that we have to build all those AR farms.
Eventually it'll kill us and it'll be fine. The fucking machines can have the planet.
Yeah, the only reason I'm okay with is I build units that power these AI centers, so it's like
you're just helping build them. That's all.
Yeah, I'm only helping them provide them power and taking away and giving them the ability to make their own power, so they can stop causing us regular people's power to go through the roof because Microsoft wants to build something that lets you generate dancing bananas for 30 seconds instead of 20 seconds.
Oh,
I digress.
This world is laughable at this point. Fucking laughable. Yeah. Well,
is this real life?
Like I said, dude, I'm convinced we're in the Matrix and we're all just batteries. I'm pretty convinced. Anyways.
Yep, me too.
Anything else new coming to RuneScape in the 25th anniversary?
Yeah, before we move on, they did come out with speaking of survival games, they came out with a co-op survival game in 2025. It is a much more a co-op survival, but it is very much playable as a single player. And it's RuneScape Dragon Wilds, if anyone's concerned. Think of it like Valheim, but with a RuneScape twist is the best way I can put it. So you have all the skills that RuneScape have, and it's early access, so it's not all the skills,
right?
But it is planned to have the skills. And it's a fun game. They're still developing it, and right now on a daily basis, they still 2,000 to 3,000 players playing that game for it being effectively a single player with co-op option game.
Yeah.
That's doesn't really have like a long-term gameplay loop. Like once you beat the quests in the game, like that's kind of it. It's just like Valheim.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can continue to build some crazy stuff, but hey, it's, you know, they're still developing it. Even though they've removed a source of income, they are still able to find ways to develop a game that they've never made before. And hey, they're still updating it, so I don't think they're doing bad.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they are making enough money to continue operations and for the team to live a comfortable life, I think they're winning. I think they're doing okay.
I think they're winning.
Well, let's talk about another game that I really don't have a segue for. Into the Dead is a really fun zombie game. And we talked about it last year. I played it during the Next Fest. I played their demo. I haven't played the game. I haven't bought the game, but I really fucking want to. Every time I look at Steam, I'm like, should buy that. It is an incredibly fun 3D 2D side scroller. It's 3-dimensional on a 2D plane. And it is a zombie survival game where you have to play as, not have to play, but you get to play as multiple survivors, kind of try and survive the outbreak. You have to find resources, build weapons, build supplies, yada, 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 what you'd expect from a zombie survival game, only played on a 2-dimensional plane. Well, it also provides really cool narrative with, you know, moral, ethical, and emotional choices you have to make. And my favorite part about the game is deaths are permanent. So you can have a survivor die and they're gone. Their story is gone. That person is gone. You can continue if you've got other players or other characters to play with, but that character is out of the game, which is really cool. It adds a risk to everything you do that a lot of games just don't have. And honestly, from what I played from just the demo alone, this is probably one of the best zombie games I've played since The Last of Us. And you can argue whether or not that's a zombie game all you want. It's a zombie game. Either way, they have just released their 7th free update for their early access version of the game. It pulls the curtain back on the origin of the outbreak. So we're going to be looking at learning some new things about the virus, how it started. The aesthetic of this game, man, I can't stress enough the tension that is built in this game just trying to open a door, because when you go up to a building, it's dark. It's kind of like Project Zomboid in a sense, if you've ever played that, to where unless there's light on inside and you look through a window, you have no idea what's in there. And then further than that, once you go inside any interior rooms, you can't see what's in there until you open them. It's kind of the same way that with Into the Dead, where you don't really know what's in that room until you open the door. So there's this tension of, is there something waiting for me? Should I be looking for a different entrance? Is there somewhere I can go to get a visual look into this room? There's a lot of thought process into the game that is really enjoyable, that makes you really think about every action you take and whether or not sometimes it's better to just leave or if it's better to fight. So it's really cool. The newest update has you playing, they call it a new escape plan. I believe, if I'm understanding correctly, their quote unquote escape plans are their story arcs, because I remember that being kind of the arc of the demo is you have a place you need to get to, and it's a matter of getting resources, finding survivors, and getting out kind of thing. So I think that's what they mean by a new escape plan. I'm assuming it's their quote unquote campaign. But you'll have to survive, pick up allies and supplies along the way to get to what they call the Picket Stadium, which is an basically destroyed football stadium. And once you get there, it's completely overrun with like football inspired themed undead. So you're going to be killing some football player zombies, which is kind of cool, as well as potentially other fans. There are 2 new characters that are coming in the update, Sergeant Bowman and Dr. Stanfield, which are going to offer new narrative and new moral choices that will kind of affect your playthrough. There are new rooftop research camps, or a new rooftop research camp. I'm not too sure what that means other than potentially a new place to hide out. Rooftops, in my opinion, seem like a great place during a zombie apocalypse, where I would probably want to be personally, but that's just me. Branching endings with emotional and complex decision making. Again, that was even in the demo, right? Having to make those hard choices of like, fuck, I'm running low on supplies. and there's 2 people, and I've got 1 water bottle. Who needs water? Who am I going to take tomorrow to go do supply runs? Who's more beneficial? It's impactful. So very cool. It is $24.99 on Steam. It came out, like I said, just under a year ago, launched in April of 2025. And if you are looking for a very strangely intense 2D zombie survival game, highly recommend. Highly recommend. There's not a day I launch Steam where I'm not like, I should buy that. So it's one game that has been on my list for a while. I fully intend to get to, probably at 1.0 release, but I really want to play it. I highly recommend you do. Do you have any thoughts?
It's actually on my wish list. It's been on my wish list since I saw it.
Yeah.
Because for us old people from days of ethereal yore, of the ethereal Elysium, when we were in high school and had to take computer classes, I was very proficient at typing. Hashtag I could type selling lobbies, 250 each, wave 1, flash 1, because it's all my RuneScape. That after you finish your typing, you go play whatever game you could find through, bypass the schools.
Yep, the proxies.
Firewall.
Yep, use those proxies.
And it was The Last Stand. If anyone remembers The Last Stand,
Yep.
It was a zombie survival game that you side scroll. It was I think it was on Armor Game Studios. It was made by Con Artist Games. I don't know why I remember these things. They came out with a game. They came out with a game back in 2021. It's called The Last Stand Aftermath. It's a more isometric, like updated, very graphical. But for those that don't know, The Last Stand, the Flash game, I think there's a legacy version on Steam if you're so inclined to look.
I think it's
a
still on
side scroller.
I think it's still on Newgrounds. I just
It's
googled
probably
it.
on Newgrounds.
Oh
Yeah.
I don't know if this is
Yeah.
a video of it or if it's the actual game. Yeah, no, it's the actual game. You can play it on Newgrounds.
Yeah. The first 2, I remember. I think there was 3 of them. The first 2 were you had to like hold your ground and like kill zombies as they ran at your barricade or whatever.
Classic.
It was the third one, which I think was called Union City, and
Yep.
was it called Union City?
Yeah, Last
It's
Stand
called Union City.
Union City, yeah.
And that's where you're actually walking through the city surviving zombies. This was, let's remember, I don't know, 2006,
This was
2007.
JavaScript days.
JavaScript. It was a while ago, but hey, back then these graphics were lit. So it reminds me of that. And then also the hit anyone who's probably heard of it, is This War of Mine, which is a
Fantastic
heavy hitter game. But yeah, I've had wishlist forever, and I do the same thing whenever I look at my wishlist. I'm like, man,
I should buy that.
I should buy that.
Yep.
And I think it's I haven't seen the update. Now that I see the update, because I do read a lot of the reviews before, oddly enough, despite how many games I have in my Steam library, I do try to read the reviews and don't buy ethereal Echoes of Yore with 30 player counts.
There's a meme. There's a meme I saw for the Steam Winter Sale that just hit way too real, and it was a cuck meme. And it was Steam Library. It was a guy sitting in a chair that said Steam Library. And it was like your wallet over the girl. And then the Steam Winter Sale's the other guy. And the girl's like, "Are you sure?" Steam Library's like, "Yes, do it." And it's so accurate. It's so accurate. It's bad. I love it.
That's it. And I hope maybe when it goes on sale, I'm gonna look into this after. If you liked The Last Stand, you were there for the golden era of addictinggames.com.
Oh god, Rafflecopter, Kitten Cannon,
Yep.
Mario Rampage. Good times.
Oh god.
Classics.
Yeah, this game looks, with the heavy hitting, I hope the heavy hitting sort of script that we would see from This War of Mine
Yeah.
in a survival game.
Yeah, it's honestly it's really good. The background story, the question of what happened, and the environmental storytelling in a lot of the scenes is really impactful. So highly recommend. And that was just based on the demo. So I mean, the full game is going to be even more than that, right? think that's kind of it for our main topics tonight. We're going to run into some quickfire news here really fast. I've got another couple of games I want to hit here. I don't have a ton on these because, again, this is supposed to be quickfire. So we're going to hit these quick just because they seemed really cool. There is a new asymmetric horror game that is co-op called Follow Us, where one person plays kind of an operator that can operate multiple different cameras and watch kind of what's going on. Another person that has to go through kind of a horror maze. So one acts as a guide and the other actually has to complete the tasks. It looks kind of cool. I don't know too much about it beyond that. It reminds me of Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, if anybody's played that VR game where one person's in a VR headset looking at a bomb, describing what they're seeing, and the outside people are trying to figure out how to help decode the bomb. Kind of that asymmetric play style, but in horror, which looks awesome. Next one I have for you guys is a game called, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Sonara the Sacrament. This is a survival horror puzzle game that takes place on a boat. And this is from a developer in South Korea. The trailer doesn't look as impressive as how they built this ship. This ship is a real ship that they used LiDAR and photo geometry to map and put in the game. Everything in there is from a real ship. That's fucking cool. I don't like that alone makes me interested because I love ships. I love boats. Don't touch my boats.
They touched my boat!
And the fact that they
did what?
don't touch my boats. They use LiDAR to basically copy a ship and make it the host for this survival horror game. Looks really cool. It's a first person, seems like it's in the vein, the idea of Resident Evil, which is really cool. Love the Resident Evil games. There's a playable demo coming out in February. The Sacrament puts players in the role of a new recruit of a religious organization with a massive 6,000-ton ship, Sonara. Upon setting sail, you wake up to find the crew missing, while unspeakable horrors roam its steel corridors. Hidden cult rituals, forbidden truths, and survivors with their own agendas await you in the darkness. In a place where blind faith and salvation intertwine, you'll be forced to make choices that go far beyond survival. Sounds cool. Like I said, the trailer looks a little underwhelming in my opinion, but that snippet of what the game is sounds really cool. There's going to be complex intertwining corridors and hidden passages and all this kind of stuff. What you'd expect from a survival horror game, but it has guns. So like it's not an Amnesia where you're just kind of fucked. You can actually fight back to a certain extent. So I'm interested. Zach seems interested.
Chest tube, pawn with a gun.
Next one I have for you is a very rare game that is a roguelike that I think I'll probably enjoy. This is called Freefall 95, and I don't know if it technically is a roguelike, but it has a roguelike game loop where the game starts and you have 60 seconds till you're dead. There's a plane crash in midair and you're falling, and you get to do cool tricks. And that's the loop of the game. It's that you do like, you can dive through jet engines and get boosts. You can like backflip off of stuff, cartwheel through the air. It looks stupid and incredibly fun.
We were just talking about Flash games. This is the
It really feels like a modern Flash game.
brought to you by X-Gen Studios, the makers of Motherload, Freefall 95.
Dude, it looks great. It's got an arcade-style leaderboard, a rich time-bending narrative, 5 varied levels, combo system, all kinds of stuff. Looks like an upgrade system of some sort here that allows you to like do more tricks or something. I don't know. But the idea of like, hey, you're gonna die in 60 seconds. Do some tricks. It's just really comical and fun to me. So there you go.
Do a sick flip.
Do a backflip.
That's I don't know how. I'm sorry, I don't know how I missed this. I love every facet of this game. Just the more I look at it, I'm like, this looks great.
Right? It's not a game I expected. I just popped open my email. I was like, what the fuck is this? Is amazing. No notes.
Just the theme banner of just the yelling face alone is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Dude, it's so good. It's pixel art style, low poly, not like 8-bit or anything like that, but low poly. It just looks fun. It looks like a good fun time. It looks like what games should be, which is fun. Then the last announcement I have, this was actually an email from Steam. Styx Blades of Greed. The demo is out. So if you're a Styx fan, if you're a stealth game fan, Styx new game, the demo's out for it. I intend to check it out. I haven't gotten a chance to because, like I said, I just got that email today. But we did talk about Styx a while ago. I want to say in the 80s somewhere. I believe me and Mike talked about it. Mike and I guess is a proper way to say that. But it looks cool. They've added some new ideas to it. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, this one is actually semi-open world instead of level-based, which is unique and new to Styx. For those of you who don't know what Styx is, you play as a goblin who is a thief, and you can stealth kill people, but the idea is be as quiet as you can. You get special powers, you can turn invisible, things like that, and you stealth through the world of humans, elves, and I believe ogres are in this one, or orcs, something like that. And you steal shit because you're a thief. And Styx has a really cool voice actor, and it's stealth, which I feel like we don't get enough stealth games. So, you know. And that's all I had. Zach, do you have anything for Quickfire tonight?
I guess for the Quickfire, no, I don't.
No?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You caught me off guard. I was still daydreaming of falling out of an airplane and doing a sick kickflip. I'm sorry. That kind of my mind was somewhere else there.
In the words of Tyler Durden, life insurance pays out double if you die on a business trip.
True.
You know?
That's why business flights won't let you fly the entire department at once.
Yep. Fun facts. Well, that is going to wrap us up for the free side tonight. Thank you guys again for watching and listening. And hey, if you're new here, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, tell a friend. You know, help us grow a little bit. If you like the content, send it to somebody who maybe will enjoy it as well, or just say, hey, these two guys are stupid and funny sometimes. You should check them out. Zach, any final words before we head off to the Patreon?
25 years is a long time. It's also a long time to not check your bread.
Always check your bread.
Always check your bread.
All right, everyone, have a great night, and we will see you next time.